Amit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Before we start, let me give a short bio about yourself and then you can quickly start. Carl J. D. Wett, more than 40 years ago, as a schoolboy with low self esteem, has discovered confidence through daily discipline while training for track and cross country. This early experience taught him that small, consistent habits lead to lasting success. Although driven by goal setting and structure, much of his early striving was fueled by a need to overcome deep self doubt. With a postgraduate certificate in clinical psychology and a strong interest in Carl Jung's teachings, he eventually saw life as a series of dances between present action and future outcomes. Today, as a speaker, he inspires others by sharing practical strategies, personal stories, and powerful insights on building resilience and well being. This is all from Carl J.D. Webb, and the stage is all yours. We are eagerly waiting for your resilience notes.
Hi, my name is Carl de Wet, and thank you very much for that introduction. And also thank you to IDIS conferences, global conferences, for organizing this event. And good to join the audience today. Thank you for coming. And today is really reflecting upon become a champion, own the value of your uniqueness. And the purpose of today is really to help you find your unique skills and talents, and then to get the feeling that this is possible. The thread of my talk is dance of a butterfly, because the life of a butterfly has two components. There is a journey and there is a process. The process, as we know, in a butterfly starts out with latching an egg, which then hatches and becomes a caterpillar. Caterpillar eats and grows and eventually becomes a pupa. And in the end of the process emerges a glorious butterfly. And the journey is very much one of survival to become a butterfly and ultimately to lay eggs for the survival of future butterflies. But like the butterfly, owning the value of your uniqueness also has a process and a journey, ultimately revealing your unique brilliance. The process has two dances. In our first dance, or our first process, is really a dance between what we do each day and the future that we are creating. And in this dance between what we do each day and the future creating, we're really looking for a middle way or a middle path. And so in the frustrations and anxieties of our daily activities, we ask, is there a sweet spot that allows us to leap forwards? Is there a portal of opportunity into a better future? There are many interpretations of the middle way or the middle path, and both from a religious perspective and from a psychological perspective. But to better explain my interpretation of the middle way, let's look at some examples. An analogy of a middle way or a middle path is, imagine you are on vacation with your partner and you decide to find a romantic coffee bar. So you leave the hotel and you go down the street and you see all these shops and you see all these people, and you see a great coffee bar and you say to your partner, well, let's go there. And the partner says yes. What I want you to notice is that in this moment, there's a strong heart-mind congruence, because the mind is saying that's a good idea, and the heart is also saying, well, yes, let's do it. So there's this willing space between both the heart and the mind. And in much the same way, attending events like this event or mastermind groups or reading books also exposes us to lots of ideas and ways and paths. And in this journey, we come across light bulb moments. And once again, in that moment, the mind says, hey, that's a good idea. And the heart says yes. And so once again, there's this strong heart-mind congruence where the mind says let's do it and the heart says yes, and you get that willing space between the heart and the mind. And I want to share two personal experiences because it's quite a complex topic. But as a child, there was a lot of conflict between me and my dad. Well, my late dad, he's been gone for 10 years. And as a boy, so due to this conflict led to a lot of underlying anxiety and indeed anger. So when I got to high school, which was a boarding school, I had very, very low self-esteem and very, very low self-confidence. And I needed to do something about this. So on reflecting, I noticed, well, I was reasonably intelligent and I was a good runner. So I decided to commit myself to the disciplines of track athletics and focus on my academics. And these two decisions were a middle way. And by the time I left school, or high school, I had a lot of confidence. And to this day, those two decisions still stay with me. I still keep fit and I still read. But about a year ago, and as I mentioned, my father's been gone for 10 years, I noticed that this anxiety and anger was still there and continued to sabotage a lot of my efforts to be successful. So on reflecting on this, and I thought, well, I need to do something about this. I noticed that my dad had many friends who loved him, friends who shared great stories of things they'd done together. And then I found a middle way. I realized that I could also do that. I could also fill my mind with great things that I'd done with my dad and moments we'd shared. And there again was a middle way. I was able to leap forward without that draining attitude. So let's talk about a second dance or a second process. This is a dance between what we do each day and our unconscious mind. And what we're looking for or what we're seeking is for the unconscious to offer ideas and insights so that we can make good decisions and good life choices. So this idea actually comes from a book by Professor John Bargh. Let me just show it so that you can see. And the reason I mention this book is because it puts science behind the whole idea of intuition. And let me quote from the chapter. Your unconscious knows what your important goals are by how much you think about them and how much time and effort you put into them. So to say that again, your unconscious knows what your important goals are by how much you think about them and sorry, I can't believe that's gone. And your unconscious knows about how important your important goals, but how much you think about them and how much time and effort you put into them. Behind the scenes, your mind is working on your future constantly. So John Bargh continues to explain that your unconscious uses material, your thoughts and your actions as material to come up with insights and ideas. And then using that, your ideas and your actions and your thoughts, it works on your future continuously. But Professor Bargh also tells his students when there's a big assignment to start immediately, because by starting immediately, the unconscious can use that material to come up with ideas and insights when these students are busy with other things. I want you to notice, though, that the unconscious uses our thoughts and our actions to come up with ideas and insights. But those ideas and insights feed back and double back to give us new actions and new ideas, which then feeds back to the unconscious. So there is this constant feedback loop, or there's this constant dance between the actions we're taking and the ideas that are coming through. Making good decisions and good life choices is such an incredibly useful tool to achieve our goals and reach our dreams. And for me, by far my most important daily habit, and yes, I have done it this morning already, is to ask my unconscious questions. So how do you ask your unconscious, or how do I ask my unconscious questions? Well, the first thing to do is to find a quiet and a peaceful and a quiet mind, because the slower brain waves, there's sort of what the people call alpha brain waves or theta brain waves, are when the unconscious is most receptive. And then to feel into the future and to decide, to feel into your goals and your dreams, and then to ask, be curious and ask, what is the next step forward? What is a solution to a problem? Show me. And often it's better to focus on one problem at a time and then invite an answer. Be open to receiving an answer. And often answers come immediately while one asks the unconscious questions. But the scholars of intuition, they explain that most great decisions and most great things come when the person is doing something totally different. And indeed, it is my experience that good ideas and good concepts come at most unexpected times and places. So really continuously be open to answers and then to take action. Because as John Barge explains, the unconscious uses that action to come up with new ideas and new insights. So what I want you to notice is that finding a way forward or finding good decisions and good life choices, these ideas actually came from your unconscious. So by definition, they are uniquely you. So these processes or these dances are really ways to reconnect with yourself, ways to find out what is possible, ways to reconnect with your own uniqueness. So as we mentioned with the butterfly, there are processes, but there's also a journey. And I like to look at the journey as a leadership journey. And absolutely, if you have an incredibly big goal or some really big dream to achieve, the 10X journey is definitely a good journey. And I like to look at the leadership journey. So what is my definition of a leadership journey? Well, it's very important to notice that the qualities of the butterfly were always there. When the egg was laid, the qualities of the future butterfly were already in that egg. So once again, a leadership journey to me is a natural process, a natural flow where we reveal our unique skills and qualities that were always there. And also to me, a leadership journey encourages you to focus on growing and learning and developing in a way that prioritizes our uniqueness and reveals our unique qualities, but the qualities that were always there. But to me, what's very important is when one sets out with great goals and great dreams, to really interact with your career and interact with your family in a way that we interact with these environments in a way that is mutually enriching for everybody around you. So going back to the start, our days are filled with frustrations and anxieties. We looked at the dance, the first dance, where we're really looking for that portal of opportunity to leap forward into a better future. The importance of seeing it as a dance between what we do today and the future that we're creating is it opens a wider frame. It tempts us to go beyond the moment that we're experiencing. And then in the second dance, we really was about asking the unconscious questions and then to give ask the unconscious question and then give the problem a bit of space and a bit of time. It's always possible that some unique idea might appear out of nowhere and really help you leap forwards. And then a leadership journey. So instead of defining our lives by what happens to us, really to have the courage to find imaginative ways to explore our circumstances and find something different. I believe that owning my own unique skills and qualities allows me to take action in a way that is inspired and enthusiastic. But it also, that pursuing my uniqueness also creates a sense of authenticity and if one adds that authenticity to a passion for exceptional skill, I think the authenticity and that passion creates true value. I want to end on a lighter note. Most of my talk today has been really about how do you find your unique skills, your unique talents, and then pursue them in a way that develops your uniqueness. But you know that history is full of amazing stories of explorers and scientists who've come up with incredibly good decisions. Albert Einstein and the speed of light and things like penicillin and all sorts of amazing things. But the story I really like, to end on a lighter note, is about the king who approached a goldsmith to have a crown made. And on receiving the crown, the king thought that there was fraud. He wasn't totally happy with this crown. So he approached Archimedes, the great inventor and the great scientist. And we don't really know if this is really a true story or not. But anyway, the story is that he approached Archimedes, and Archimedes pondered the problem. And then one day, Archimedes was doing his daily routine and getting into a bath. And history tells us that these would have been Roman baths or public baths. And the story goes that he's getting into this bath and he has this incredible insight, this vision. And he sees the answer to the problem. And his excitement, he jumps out the bath and runs down the street shouting, "Eureka, Eureka, I found it, I found it." Thank you. Where is, I'm not too sure. So I'm the, is the host there? Hi.
Hi, Carl. Yeah. Thanks for the wonderful speech, Carl. We have so many questions. Right, we can see on the right-hand side.
Yes, you know what? Is there a way I can just attach? Let me just see if I can do this. I just want to see if I can attach a lead magnet to. Can I copy this?
Yeah, you can text.
Yeah, let me just catch this quickly. See if it attaches. There's no way.
We can send the questions to your email.
Yeah, because I wanted to attach a lead magnet so people have a way to get hold of me, but I don't really know how to do that. Okay. So do you have any questions you want to prioritize?
Yeah, we will send it to your email. Just I think we do have your email, Carl.
Yeah.
So we will send you all those questions, and you can connect to this wonderful.
Okay, and then thank you. And then to the audience, there's only one Carl J. de Wet in the entire of LinkedIn. So please, you can contact me on LinkedIn. I see Colette asked a very good question. What are some common fears that people face when embracing their uniqueness?
Yeah.
Colette, that's a very important question, because the truth be known, taking on what is uniquely you it takes a lot of courage. It is not that simple. And to give you an example, I mean, people ask me, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I don't want to answer the question, because all I do on weekends is read and study. I don't do exciting things on weekends. But you see, that is who I am. That is my uniqueness. So yes, it does take courage. Thank you, Colette.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Colette, I think, have you got the answer? So we will get the other questions to you as well, Carl. Thank you so much for being on the stage. And
yes.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye-bye.
And thank you all for listening. Great to join you today.
You too. Take care.